Investigators also seized millions of dollars worth of drugs in multiple raids. As Katie Stevenson reports, police believe the 8-month operation will also have an impact outside the South Island.
February 2025. Queensland police stormed 12 properties across 2 days. Behind the raids, a gang recruiting spree that threatened to change Australia's criminal landscape forever. When officers broke down doors, they didn't just find drugs and weapons. They uncovered something far more dangerous, a blueprint for building a criminal empire, 15 arrests, 54 charges, and the disruption of a newly formed street gang before it could spread its roots. This is the story of Operation Whiskey Rebound. The Comanchero motorcycle club didn't start in Australia yesterday. Founded in 1968 by Scottish immigrant William George Ross in Sydney, this outlaw gang took its name from a John Wayne Western film. Ross ran the organization with military precision, giving himself the title of Supreme Commander and forcing members to participate in weekly paramilitary drills. By the 1970s and 1980s, the Comancheros had earned a reputation as Australia's most violent outlaw biker club. Fast forward to 2025, and the Comancheros have evolved into something far more sophisticated than a simple motorcycle gang. With chapters across Australia, New Zealand, and international operations stretching from Turkey to South Africa, they've become Australia's most feared organized crime outfit. Their operations span drug trafficking, weapons dealing, extortion, money laundering, and even illicit tobacco trade. According to the Australian Crime Commission, there are approximately 35 outlaw motorcycle gangs operating across Australia, with around 3,500 patch members combined. September 2024 marked the beginning of Operation Whiskey Rebound. Queensland Police launched this investigation targeting members, former members, and associates of the Comanchero gang who were allegedly involved in a range of criminal activities. The operation focused on recruitment efforts, drug trafficking, extortion, arson, and weapons offenses across Southeast Queensland. What police discovered during their investigation was alarming. Intelligence revealed that current and former Comanchero members were actively recruiting individuals for a newly formed street gang called the 50 Street Crew. This wasn't just about expanding an existing organization. It was about creating an entirely new criminal network that could operate alongside the established gang structure. February 6th and 7th, 2025. These dates became crucial in disrupting this criminal enterprise. Detectives from the Organised Crime Gangs Group, supported by criminal investigation branches from Brisbane, Caboolture, Rockhampton, and Maryborough, executed simultaneous search warrants. Approximately 40 police officers coordinated 12 search warrants across various locations in Southeast Queensland over these 2 days. The locations targeted included Mount Cotton, Yarra Bilba, Broadbeach, Kapalaba, Springwood, Darra, Upper Caboolture, Cleveland, Crestmead, Slacks Creek, Eagleby, and Underwood. The simultaneous nature of these raids was strategic, giving suspects no time to warn each other or destroy evidence. What officers found painted a clear picture of organized criminal operations. At the Darra location, police discovered what they identified as a safe house. Inside, they seized 1 kilogram of cocaine, 85 grams of methamphetamine, a cannabis grow house, 1 revolver, and 2 kilograms of cannabis. This single location alone represented a significant drug distribution hub. Across all the search locations, the seizures were substantial. Police located 2 firearms, both revolvers, alongside a large quantity of ammunition. They discovered a grow house containing 19 cannabis plants. Officers seized quantities of cocaine, cannabis, and methamphetamine, along with approximately $20,000 in cash. The cash and drugs combined indicated an active and profitable operation. 1 search warrant in Caboolture led to a particularly significant arrest. Detectives located and arrested a 45-year-old man from Upper Caboolture in connection with a grievous bodily harm incident that allegedly occurred in Pillara on July 12, 2024. This arrest solved a case that had been under investigation for 7 months. The man faced serious charges including drug trafficking, grievous bodily harm, deprivation of liberty, torture, possessing dangerous drugs, possession of property suspected of being proceeds of crime, recruiting persons to become a participant in a criminal organization, and possessing utensils. The operation resulted in 15 people being charged with a total of 54 offenses. 3 men specifically faced charges of recruiting persons to become participants in a criminal organization, a charge that carries significant penalties under Queensland law. The ages of those arrested range from a 16-year-old Sydney boy who was issued a warning for possessing dangerous drugs, to men in their mid-40s. A 44-year-old Cleveland man was charged with drug trafficking and recruiting for a criminal organization. A 38-year-old Mount Cotton man faced charges including drug trafficking, recruiting for a criminal organization, and possession of property suspected of being proceeds of crime. A 39-year-old Yarra man was charged with drug trafficking and recruiting for a criminal organization. A 27-year-old Broadbeach man faced charges of drug trafficking, dangerous conduct with a weapon, and unlawful use of a motor vehicle. Multiple men in their early 20s from various locations were charged with drug trafficking. A 23-year-old Crestmead man faced particularly serious charges, 2 counts each of drug trafficking and assault occasioning bodily harm, along with arson and unlawful use of a motor vehicle. Acting Detective Superintendent Craig Bowman, who supervised the operation, explained the significance of the arrests. The operation disrupted the 50 Street crew gang early in its formation, effectively preventing it from establishing a strong foothold in drug trafficking across Southeast Queensland. The collaboration of 40 police officers from various criminal investigative branches enabled the coordinated execution of 12 search warrants over 2 days, resulting in significant arrests and charges. The timing of this operation was critical. By intervening early in the recruitment phase, police prevented the 50 Street crew from becoming a fully operational criminal network. Had the gang been allowed to establish itself, it could have created an additional layer of complexity in Queensland's organized crime landscape. This operation didn't exist in isolation. Just months earlier, in November 2024, Australian police conducted a national day of action targeting the Comanchero gang. This operation, coordinated by National Task Force Morpheus, brought together police from across Australia and New Zealand. On November 28, 2024, specialist police conducted 33 search warrants targeting the Comancheros, resulting in 33 arrests and 78 charges. That November operation uncovered multiple weapons, firearms, ammunition, significant quantities of cash, jewelry, and drugs, including methamphetamine and cocaine. Police also seized illicit tobacco and vapes with an estimated value exceeding $1.5 million. The Comancheros' involvement in the illicit tobacco trade represents a growing trend among outlaw motorcycle gangs, providing them with substantial revenue streams alongside traditional drug trafficking operations. The Comancheros' criminal activities extend far beyond Australia's borders. In New Zealand, police charged 41 members and affiliates of the gang in September 2024, following a 3-year investigation. That operation seized $9.2 million New Zealand dollars worth of assets. Police allege the Comancheros chapter operated as an organized crime group involved in money laundering, drug importation, and distribution, and even ran a commission scheme to fund military-style training for members. The gang's international reach is staggering. In October 2023, Turkish authorities detained 37 full-patch members of the Comancheros in Istanbul. The gang has established operations in Spain, Serbia, and has connections to major drug trafficking networks in Mexico. Australian federal police have documented links between the Comancheros and Mexican drug cartels, particularly the Sinaloa cartel, which has a major stake in Australia's expanding cocaine market. The Comancheros' evolution from a local motorcycle club to an international organized crime network reflects broader trends in criminal organizations. They've adopted sophisticated business models using encrypted communications, money laundering networks, and legitimate businesses as fronts for illegal operations. Their recruitment strategies have also evolved, utilizing social media platforms to attract young members with promises of brotherhood and lucrative lifestyles. The violence associated with the Comancheros has been well documented over the decades. The 2009 Sydney Airport brawl between the Comancheros and Hells Angels resulted in the death of Anthony Zervis and shocked the Australian public. That incident, witnessed by over 50 travelers and captured on CCTV cameras, led to strengthened anti-gang legislation across multiple Australian states. More recently, a gangland war in Sydney linked to the Comancheros claimed close to 20 lives over several years. The gang's propensity for public violence extends beyond Australia. In New Zealand, Comanchero members have been convicted of murder, assault, and other violent crimes since establishing their chapter in 2018. Law enforcement agencies across Australia have responded with increasingly sophisticated approaches. National Task Force Morpheus, established in September 2014, coordinates efforts between Commonwealth, state, and territory law enforcement agencies. This task force specifically targets outlaw motorcycle gangs operating across domestic and international borders, focusing on disrupting their operations, seizing criminal assets, and reducing gang membership. Queensland's Task Force Maxima Southeastern Region, which conducted Operation Whiskey Rebound, represents the state-level response to organized crime. These specialized units combine traditional investigative techniques with modern technology, intelligence gathering, and interagency cooperation. The simultaneous execution of multiple search warrants requires extensive planning, coordination, and resources, demonstrating the commitment law enforcement agencies have made to combating organized crime. The charges laid during Operation Whiskey Rebound reflect the seriousness of the offenses. Recruiting persons to become participants in a criminal organization carries substantial penalties, recognizing that gang recruitment perpetuates and expands criminal networks. Drug trafficking charges address the primary revenue source for these organizations. Charges related to grievous bodily harm, torture, and deprivation of liberty highlight the violence these gangs inflict on victims. The economic impact of outlaw motorcycle gangs on Australian communities is significant. Academic research cited by police emphasizes that these organizations undermine the rule of law and economic stability. Their drug trafficking operations fuel addiction and associated social problems. Their involvement in legitimate businesses through money laundering distorts markets and disadvantages honest operators. The violence they perpetrate impacts community safety and creates fear among citizens. Operation Whiskey Rebound's success demonstrates that early intervention can prevent criminal networks from taking root. By disrupting the 50 Street crew during its formation phase, police prevented the establishment of what could have become a significant criminal organization. Had the gang been allowed to fully develop, it would have added another layer of complexity to Queensland's organized crime environment, potentially leading to turf wars, increased drug trafficking, and heightened violence. The 15 individuals arrested now face serious legal consequences. Court appearances were scheduled across multiple magistrates' courts, including Brisbane, Southport, and others. The legal process will determine guilt or innocence, but the arrests themselves have achieved a crucial goal: disrupting criminal operations and sending a clear message to those considering involvement in organized crime. Detective Superintendent Bowman emphasized the commitment of the Organized Crime Gangs Group to using specialist resources and capabilities to target these groups at their core and hold them accountable for the misery they cause. This statement reflects a broader law enforcement philosophy that disrupting organized crime requires sustained pressure, sophisticated techniques, and unwavering commitment. Operation Whiskey Rebound represents a significant victory in Australia's ongoing battle against organized crime. The arrest of 15 individuals, the seizure of drugs, weapons, and cash, and most importantly, the disruption of the 50 Street crew before it could establish itself, demonstrate that proactive policing can achieve real results. The Comanchero Motorcycle Club remains a powerful criminal organization, but operations like this show that law enforcement agencies are equally committed to protecting communities from organized crime's devastating impact. As these cases proceed through the courts, they serve as reminders that criminal enterprise carries serious consequences, and that police will continue pursuing these organizations relentlessly across Australia and internationally.